my supernatural people. My name is Larissa and welcome to the video of the day. Today I am going to be talking about why I quit caffeine. And I know it's pretty crazy. Most people drink caffeine on a daily basis, and I used to be one of them. I used to be an extreme coffee addict. When I was younger, I would go to Starbucks every single day and get one of those giant, cups of crack pretty much. And yeah, I was just completely addicted for years. And even when I started eating healthier, I tried to switch to healthier caffeinated beverages, and that included things like green tea, matcha, chai. I was definitely hooked on all that kind of stuff for a while, but I would always go back and forth between that and coffee. And I tried to quit coffee many times. It took so many times of giving it up, going through the withdrawals, and being, coffee free for I did a year, I did a few months. I would just keep going back every single time, because as soon as I had one sip of coffee, I would be hooked. I had to have it every single day, and it was just a vicious cycle each time of, having to quit again, and then I would end up giving in and having it again at some point, down the road, and getting hooked and having to quit again. And yeah, to me, that's the only real drug addiction I've ever experienced. That real addiction of I have to be completely abstinent from something, because if I have it once, I'll be hooked. I have to have it. And to the point where my brain tricks myself into going out of my way to get it, even when I'm constantly no, I shouldn't have it, it's gonna make me feel like shit. But I would just end up always talking myself back into it. But I am so happy to say I will never put coffee in my body ever again. And I've also ended up making steps to quit all forms of caffeine. And so yeah, it just took a long time. But the number one reason I quit was because it made me feel like shit. I would get really jittery, and I would get a lot of anxiety. My heart would be racing. I would just feel even more stressed. When I had really bad stress problems, it would just make it worse. And when I was feeling good, it would just, ruin my day, really, and just put so much stress on my body. It would give me headaches, especially during the withdrawal periods after quitting each time. And it would really upset my stomach. We all know the experience of drinking coffee and having to go to the bathroom right away. And yeah, that's not good. It's just very irritating to the colon and the digestive tract. It's very dehydrating. And it would make me feel like it would speed up my metabolism in a weird way. Not saying that it's good for that, but it would always make me feel like I was starving. Especially if I didn't eat enough, but even if I did, I always felt like I was so hungry, and I could not possibly ever eat enough on the days that I would end up drinking caffeine. It just really made me need to eat more. I don't know why. And some people say that caffeine is a appetite suppressant, but for me it was the opposite. I don't know if it was because it made my heart beat faster and that sped up my metabolism or something, requiring me to eat more food. That's just my experience with it. And it would be to the point where it would even make me feel sort of weak and dizzy, especially if I didn't eat enough. And that's the other thing, people will oftentimes replace caffeine in the morning with eating breakfast, and that's a really bad idea. I know some people do that for weight loss, which is a terrible idea. We need nutrients, we need energy for our body, real energy from carbohydrates. This is what I'm having this morning. Instead of a coffee drink, I'm having orange juice, and that's not my breakfast, that's just my morning hydration. But when we're replacing our much needed carbohydrates and sugar for energy with a caffeinated beverage instead, we're giving our bodies this fake energy, and it's just adrenaline, so it's just stress on our body. It's not real energy. Real energy comes from carbohydrates, so we need to have our fruit in the morning. We need to have our sugar. Don't be afraid of sugar. It's not going to make you fat. It's going to give your body energy. And I'm talking about the sugar from fruit specifically. When you notice yourself or other people relying on caffeine every single day for energy, that just means your diet needs some tweaking. You need to get those carbohydrates in the morning, and that will give your body real energy instead of relying on stimulants, because that's very harmful for the body. It's not real energy. It's just stress. It's adrenaline. I experienced pretty bad adrenal fatigue from consuming so much caffeine in the past. So your adrenals are these glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and that is what produces adrenaline. And when you're constantly dosing your body up on caffeine every single day, you can experience adrenal fatigue down the road, where your adrenal glands just get so tired from producing all this adrenaline and stress all the time, and you just have a loss of energy, and your body is just, tired of all the stress and adrenaline that you've been producing from the caffeine. So yeah, and just many other ways as well, caffeine is not good for us. It's not like a health food. We should not be consuming it. It's technically a poison. Certain plants develop their own survival mechanisms, and that's what caffeine is for the plants that contain it. It's technically a pesticide that kills insects. So when an insect tries to eat the plant, the caffeine kills it. And so when we're putting that sort of poison into our bodies, it has negative effects. Like, it kills us too on a cellular level. It's extremely acidic. It's dehydrating. It's not something that we should be putting into our bodies. We need alkalizing, hydrating foods, and caffeine is the opposite of that. So for all these reasons is also why I didn't just take coffee out of my life. I slowly took steps to take all caffeine out of my life, and my transition was pretty slow. I'm not sure about the cold turkey method because I never did it, but I'm sure that totally works for some people. But for me personally, like I said, I tried to quit coffee over and over and over again, but I just didn't have sort of the mindset I needed at the time until I actually did. And that was when I started committing to my health a lot more, because I had self-love for the first time, and I was trying to transition to a raw vegan diet. So I was cleaning my body from the inside out, and I knew that caffeine had no place in my life at that time. So it was much easier then, but even after that, I was still consuming matcha and green tea and chai, and even quite a bit of cacao as well. So yeah, I switched from coffee to tea, green tea, matcha, black tea, chai, stuff like that. And I was drinking those for quite a while, probably a couple years, before I completely switched to all herbal tea. And then for a little while after that, cacao was really the only thing I was still consuming that contained caffeine. And once again, I had a small addiction to that as well. I just had to acknowledge the unhealthy relationship I had with that substance and just be strong in giving it up, and just realizing I don't need it. I fuel myself every day with all the energy my body needs, so I don't need any sort of energy boost from this drug. So just giving my body what it needs and replacing it with something as delicious and tasty and as energizing has really been helpful. So fruit is always my go-to because it is the most energizing food out there. Our bodies just absorb the nutrients really well, and it's got all the carbohydrates and sugar that we need. So that's just been really helpful to stay off caffeine for me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about my caffeine addiction and why I quit, and I guess a little bit about how I quit too. So I hope that helps you guys as well. And let me know if you have any questions. Please subscribe if you like these types of videos, and don't forget to check me out on Instagram. And thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!